So you wrote the story today and you started with HubSpot, which was a company that you kind of lasered in as one of the many SaaS companies that are going through this reckoning right now. Why did you start with HubSpot and what's happening at that company?
Yeah, so HubSpot is a company that doesn't get a ton of attention compared to others like Salesforce, even though it competes with Salesforce in customer management software. Basically, what happened is on their earnings call a couple weeks ago, the CEO, Yamini Rangan, was asked, "What are you going to do in situations where HubSpot customers want to use their HubSpot customer data in conjunction with agents from third party vendors?" And her response was very interesting because they are probably the most unvarnished comments that I've seen so far, basically saying that we're going to track it, we're going to monetize it, and we're not going to be a free pipeline for people to take data out of HubSpot. And so I think it's very telling when you look at the situation that HubSpot is in, and also basically every other SaaS company. They're looking to do anything they can, I think, to show shareholders that they're not going to sit back and just let this happen. So they're going to take steps to monetize things that perhaps they haven't monetized before.
So, just to recap, listeners, I mean, we've reported extensively to information. You've reported extensively on the corporate data wars and the idea that these enterprise software companies are sitting on data that all their customers have. And we've written about the risks that these agents pose, given that now they can sort of take the data and make use of it for their own products. This is HubSpot saying, you can do it if you want. We're not going to put up a wall, but we're going to charge you for it.
Well, we don't exactly know because HubSpot didn't engage on the story and they wouldn't say anything about specifically how they're going to do this. So there are a million questions around this. It's very murky at this point. But at some level, it's clear that yes, the access to data, customer data that used to be free, HubSpot is well known for being very generous in that regard. That's going to change, and we don't know how it's going to change, but certainly, things are going to look different for third parties that want to access HubSpot customer data.
How did investors react to that type of clarity from management?
The interesting thing was, as the CEO was speaking, as she was answering the question, HubSpot's shares started to tick up in after-hours trading. Now, we don't know if that's specifically why, but it was kind of interesting to see. Perhaps investors wanted to see her, take a fighting stance on this situation and do something that again, like shows them that HubSpot's not going to just lay down and let the SaaS apocalypse wash over it.
Now, that's how investors were reacting. Did you speak with any customers of HubSpot and how they might feel about all this?
Well, we spoke with one of their partners who we quoted in the story, and he was basically saying that this isn't going to go well because generally, when it comes to customer data, protectionist types of moves don't get a good response. We wrote about last year when Salesforce's Slack unit changed their API terms to prevent third parties from mass exporting and storing data from Slack. Yeah, there's no indication that it hurt Slack's business in any way, but certainly the public reaction wasn't great.
So, HubSpot has taken this stance on it as we sort of broaden this out to the rest of the enterprise software sector. Is it the only company that has made comments that were as bold as this, or are there? I know CEOs go on podcasts, galore these days. These enterprise software executives, especially in amidst the SaaS apocalypse, everyone is eager to get their message out. I mean, are they delivering similar messages, or how are they all reacting?
No one has said anything this direct, to my knowledge. Anyway, maybe there's a podcast somewhere that I haven't seen heard, but I do think that it might be something that others follow. I think all of the so-called system of record vendors, which are basically databases where companies store customer information or human resources information or financial data. These are probably the first ones to react to agents and third party access and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see CEOs of other similar companies saying, you know what, we're going to do this too, because They might have an argument. There's a couple of arguments. One is security. You can't just allow third parties to access your data willy-nilly. That's a perennial argument. It might be convenient for them to use that argument in a competitive way. But at the same time, the vendors themselves, they are in charge of the customer data, and it is their responsibility to protect the data. So you could make the case that if something goes wrong, it's on them. And while everyone's trying to figure out the security around agents, maybe maybe it is in their best interest to just hit pause for a little while on this.
Great. Well, Kevin, I want to thank you for coming on. That is Kevin McLaughlin, our enterprise software reporter here at The Information.